Well, thank you for coming. I know it's a little bit of a sparse group, sorry, but we have got people who are logged on and watching through our Zoom account as well. So many of you have loved ones watching that way. And at the end of this, send me an email and I will, once we get that recorded, I can send a link to you as well so they can watch it later. Welcome to the 2021, we made it, speech contest. Out of all the applications, we have 5 finalists. And I can tell you the committee who helped narrow down that 5 were torn. They had a tough time choosing the 5 finalists or even figuring out what kind of order their finalists selected would be in. So we've got some excellent speeches to listen to today. They are answering the question, what does college mean to them? Here at OSU-OKC, we have a diverse student body who come from all walks of life, and this is an excellent way to reconnect and listen to our students about what's important to them. So thank you for coming to this. If you hadn't heard and you're interested in applying next year, I encourage you to do so because second and third prizes win 3 credit hours worth of tuition. First prize gets 12 credit hours of tuition, so full semester's credits. So this is kind of a big deal. All right, I want to introduce the judges to you. First of all, joining us last minute, thank you, is Rachel Benbrook. She's the regional coordinator for the OSU Foundation. She works to support all the fundraising efforts here for this campus. So I want to thank you for all you do for our students. Next up, we have Michael Waddell. Michael has spent almost 40 years in leadership roles at private companies like Walmart Corporation, AT&T, and in public service through Oklahoma State government and right here at OSU-OKC. He was recently the interim campus president and did a lot for us during that really tricky time. So thank you for that. He's now resumed his regular role in making sure our campus meets its current and future challenges in his role as Vice President of Operations here at OSU-OKC. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. Cordell Jordan, welcome. He is the Senior Director of Marketing and Communications for OSU-OKC. He's worked in higher education now for more than 12 years and has also worked in K-12 education and in radio and television. Mr. Jordan has 2 daughters, one of whom just won a pretty big national speech award for a speech competition. So he's very excited to join us in his first year at his first speech competition. So thank you so much to all the judges. I appreciate you taking the time. It's a tough job, but somebody's got to help us with it. Thank you so much. So in between all of the speeches, we are going to hear from Donovan Woods, also with the OSU Foundation. We're going to hear from Professor Elizabeth Peters and Professor Stephen Collins. And at the end of the presentation, while the votes are being tallied, we are going to enjoy a performance from the OSU-OKC Dance Club. Yeah. Dorothy's you going to join him? Professor Weaver is going to join him up here, I think. The finalists this year, and please give them all a round of applause, are Justin Garrett, John Menser, James Bowler, Kate Hughes, and Pam Vasquez. Some of them were a little nervous to invite their friends and family today, so we're going to be your friends and family, and we're going to cheer really hard, okay? So I promise I won't hug you this year. Next year, you're getting hugs, I'm pretty sure. So without further ado, we're going to start with Justin. Come on up. Yes.
Move this up just a little bit. Good afternoon, everyone. So after I graduated Moore High School in 2002, I gave roughly around 13 unfulfilling years to retail industry. I watched those around me grow. I watched them gain the jobs and the careers of a lifetime. I watched them achieve their goals and have passion and purpose through what they were doing. I knew I was lacking that purpose and that passion, especially within my job. In March of 2012, I woke up as any normal day in Southeast Norman. I made my commute up to Coral Springs Mall, where I was working in the mall at that time. Unlike this day, though, this day was a little sad, a little bit kind of a dreary for me. Past couple of weeks, I had entered into a state of depression. It kind of been a hard time for me professionally and personally. And so that evening, I decided I was going to go out and I was going to head to Norman Fire Station number 9 and spend some time with my girlfriend's dad at that time. He was a captain there at Station 9 in Norman. So that night, I headed down to Southeast Norman to Fire Station 9, and I sat around the table with the crew that was there. And as anyone might know in public service, if you show up to a fire station or if you work any overtime, you buy ice cream, you bring extra food and goodies and cookies. So I showed up with some ice cream that day. When I showed up, I sat there and I watched all these individuals laugh and joke around and kind of just poke back and forth at each other and have a good time. About 15 minutes into us enjoying our bowl of ice cream, the tones went off and they were responding to an MBA with injury. As I watched, I saw all of these individuals around that table who minutes ago had been joking and laughing with each other. All of a sudden, they left that door with one sense of purpose, and that was to act as a unified team, to be able to go out there, serve the public, and they were all on the same page. I sat back and I saw that, and it kind of hit me like a wave. It was one of those things where I had never had that in the career that I was in. I saw that camaraderie, I saw that passion, I saw that purpose. And at that moment, I knew I wanted that. That is what I needed inside my life. So after being out of school for several years, roughly about a decade, I returned to Oklahoma City Community College in 2012. I had to start on my prerequisites because I knew I wanted to be a firefighter. And so with that, I knew that I was going to have to probably achieve my emergency medical technician or my EMT. So I began my basics. I got a jump start on my education. And that spring of 2013, I started my career towards my EMT school. While I was in my EMT school, I started applying for positions throughout fire departments throughout the state. I went so far as to go to Austin, Texas. I went down to Dallas. I wanted them to know that I was serious about the career that I had chosen. I graduated in that May of 2013 with my emergency medical technician. Once I had graduated, I received my national registry and my state license, and I started to apply even more aggressively to departments that required it, knowing that most departments in the state of Oklahoma would require some kind of medical training, as that is the majority of the calls for a fire service nowadays. While in the pursuit of my ultimate career being a firefighter, I had noticed that when I was on these clinicals, that the paramedics, which is the second 2 levels up from an EMT, these paramedics, I was just in awe of watching them do their jobs, their daily duties. I was in awe of how they could sit there and stabilize, they could treat, and they could comfort and take care of the dying and sick. So with being hooked in the fire service, I was now hooked into another side of medicine. I was now hooked into the paramedic side of things. While not losing focus of where I wanted to be, I wanted to advance my purpose. I wanted to be able to give more to people and citizens wherever I was hired, or if I was to work for an EMS agency, I wanted to be able to do more for patients. Sitting back and not being able to give all mine to them, that was something that I feared. So I continued on to paramedic school in that fall of 2013. While I was in paramedic school, I received a job offer after several tries at several departments, the Oklahoma City Fire Department, Edmond Fire, Tulsa, Broken Arrow. I received my first job offer through Norman Fire Department. I could have been more ecstatic to actually have that chance. And so January of 2015, I started the Norman Fire Academy. With that, I had to leave the last semester of my paramedic schooling, but I knew that I was going to come back when I could. I knew that I was not going to give up. I'd spent 3 years getting my basics done, going through all of this stuff, and realizing where I had been prior in my life, that I was not going to give up on my dream. So I started the Norman Fire Department. I was there 2015 in January. I had great times. I learned how to take care of people. I learned how to handle situations stressful. I learned a lot of things. I learned a lot about teamwork and cooperation and camaraderie, things that so much does not exist in arenas such as retail. As you know, most of the time we're fighting for commerce and for the almighty dollar. No career has ever given me this amazing opportunity to be able to take care of people and to learn. So with that being said, fast forward until 2020, I was recently promoted to the EMS director for the Norman Fire Department. With that being said, in 2016, I graduated with my paramedicine. I went back and completed my last semester. So I have my National Registry paramedic, and now I'm over all responses for our EMS division at the Norman Fire Department. But it didn't stop there. That education had given me so many opportunities and so many doorways that I decided to come back for my bachelor's degree. So after a 4-year hiatus, I decided to move back into the realm of education and started to apply here for my bachelor's of technology and emergency management. I'm slated to graduate in March of 2023, and I could not be more ecstatic to have that bachelor's degree. Not only will that bring more education to myself, but will be able to help those around me in a greater service. As I sit here reflecting on the topic, what was handed to us of what education means to me or what education means to you when it was posed, a lot of words come to mind, but the biggest word that comes to mind for me is opportunity. That's the one that sticks to the wall. That's the one that sticks in the back of my mind. So it's not just any opportunity. It's the opportunity to be able to go to bed every night, be able to look in the mirror and be happy with who you are. It's the opportunity to grow, to be an individual and to show others that there are other possibilities out there. The biggest one is the opportunity to show my children how important education is. How it can allow them to grow and develop not only as individuals, but as members of functioning society. I nor my wife come from a family of education. We are the first ones with bachelor's degree that we can see within our immediate family and further out. So education was never a huge focus for us. I was never talked to about, it's time for you to get into college, it's time for you to graduate, you need to get more education. That was never a focus with our families. So my wife and I have broken that cycle inside of our families. We've shown our children that education is a doorway. It's an opportunity to opening endless and limitless possibilities. My daughter will graduate in May of 2022. 20 years after her father did, from the same high school and institute, Moore High School. Only this time around, she'll be graduating with over 40 college credit hours. That is what education means to me. Thank you all for your time and dedication to education. Your service does not go unnoticed. I appreciate it.
While the judges finish their tallies on Justin's speech, I would like to introduce you to Elizabeth Peters. She's going to talk about some adventures she has coming up.
Hi, everybody. I'm Professor Elizabeth Peters. I teach psychology here on campus, and I also coordinate the honors program as well as the travel abroad program. And I love to travel, so I try to take students to a new place every year. Some examples of past trips we have done was a history of psychology in Europe, where we traveled to London, Paris, and Amsterdam. We also did an England, Ireland, and Wales tour. And we tried for 2 years in a row to go to Paris. However, COVID, canceled all that out. So we have a new opportunity coming up next May. We'll be traveling after the session, after graduation, to Peru, South America. So we're going to go to Lima, which is the capital of Peru, for a couple of days. And then we'll kind of go over to Iquitos, which is a beautiful metropolitan place with lots of gardens, parks, nightlife, and we'll stay there for a couple of days. And then we spend about 4 or 5 days in the Amazon rainforest. So again, my name is Elizabeth Peters, and you can look me up on the website. It's elizabeth.peters@okstate.edu. And I would be very happy to send you all the information about our trip to Peru next May. Thank you so much.
And I want to make sure that you know that there are some funding opportunities through that organization. So it's not up to individuals to come up with necessarily all the money for themselves. It is more accessible than you might think. All righty. So now I would like to introduce our next contestant, if the judges are ready. Okay, I'd like to introduce James Buller. Wait, I'm sorry, I got Roth on the list. I don't have my list in front of me. John Menser. There we go. Thank you, John Menser.
All right. So when I first thought about the question of what does education mean to me, the very first thing that came to my mind was opportunity. It's an opportunity, and I know that sounds very cliche. Many people will say that's the generic form of what people say of what's education is an opportunity. But to me, it's an opportunity to learn, it's an opportunity to grow, and it's an opportunity to live life. You can better one's future, you can build oneself up, and you can live life around others and with others through education and through college. Education is, when I think about that, I primarily think of OSU-OKC. I've been here for 5 years now, and it's probably the main thing that I think of when I think of education. But it's an opportunity. Education is an opportunity to learn. Many people think of education as unnecessary. That's the predominant form of thinking of education in high school, especially. But I know many people who graduated high school but never went to college. I know many people who are many years older than me who never went to college and are perfectly happy like that. But education overall means a chance to have a better career and a better future. A high school diploma alone earns on average an extra $8,000. An associate's diploma earns on average an extra $7,000 on top of that. So many places, jobs are looking for a degree, any degree, and an associate's degree means so much. We have an opportunity to learn to be better than our past and make a better future. The future generations rely on us being able to teach them the things that we learned today. It's also an opportunity just to learn new things. There have been many classes that I have taken here just to be able to take an opportunity to learn the things that are in that class. There's actually multiple professors in this room where I've taken classes with them just to take an opportunity with the class with them. So education is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to learn. It's an opportunity to grow. There have been many times as I've been here that I've considered dropping out. There have been many times where I had given up and dropped a semester and had to go back and redo a class because I dropped that semester. But so often I have to remind myself that this is something I want. This is something that I want so that I can grow as a person, so I can be able to grow, even if it's a little just at a time. Again, I have been here for 5 years and I've knocked out a little bit at a time. I've been working full time as I've been here, but I have had that desire to better myself. I've bettered myself physically. Obviously, I've gotten older, but I've been able to take better care of myself. I've bettered myself mentally. I've learned so much and I've become more open to so many things. As I've been here, I've been able to listen to other people's opinions, something that I didn't really do up until I got to college. I was very stubborn. I was very closed-minded, and I've been able to open up and be more understanding of other people. I've been able to have an opportunity to grow spiritually. I am a Christian, and I have been able to spend more time understanding myself and understanding others around me as I've been here, so that I can grow in my relationship with others and my relationship with God. I've also grown to appreciate things more around me. And a big part of that is that OSU-OKC offers an environment to foster openness and diversity. And I have really appreciated that. So education is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to live life. Here at college, we can live life around others and with others. It's an opportunity to spend time and get to know people. I've gotten to know so many students as well as teachers here that I just enjoyed learning from and learning with. Personally, I'm more of an introvert, but as I've been here, I've always preferred the in-person classes. I've taken, even before COVID, I had taken some online, had taken some in person, but I always preferred the in-person because it gave an opportunity to be around others and live life with others. The irony is now everyone's fully online. So, when that first happened, I was devastated because despite not being a people person, I wanted to be able to interact with others. So it's has been an opportunity here to live life and to find life. In high school, I had unofficially dropped out. In my sophomore year of high school, I had made a suicide attempt and I spent a couple weeks in the hospital. And after that, I wasn't able to go back to high school, but the school worked with me to where I could make up the classes that I had missed. Make up an entire semester. So that was where I first saw education as an opportunity, is I had a school work with me so that I could make up the things that I personally never would have thought I would have made it past. So when I started college, I saw it as an opportunity to create a new me, to start over. I didn't have the judgment of where I was in high school, where everyone knew what I had done. But I started here with a blank slate, and I started here with that opportunity to, again, live life with others and be able to form those relationships without anyone necessarily knowing, but also with the opportunity to not have other people judge me. As people here have known about that, nobody has judged me. I have also had the opportunity to have some professors here even mentor me. So overall, education has been a motivation to keep going and to keep working on myself. As I've been here, I've gradually figured out what I want to do with my life. I finished one degree this previous spring in enterprise development, and I had just started a job working in a nonprofit. And I learned then that I feel called to go into nonprofit. So I came right back because there was an opportunity to have the nonprofit certificate. And so I came right back, and I will finish again in the spring, but I'm already got plans to come right back in the fall again, because there are so many things that I just enjoy learning. I've learned here that I enjoy learning. So thank you.
While the judges finish tallying their scores again, I'd like to introduce Donovan Woods. He is the Director of Development at Oklahoma State University Foundation. He's also played football at OSU and went on to sign with 3 pro teams. Mr. Woods is from Oklahoma City. He graduated from Millwood High School and talks about his experiences there quite a bit, but we always get a lot when he comes and talks to us. So thank you, Donovan.
Good afternoon. As it was stated, my name is Donovan Woods. I serve as the Director of Development for the OSU-OKC campus. This is a tremendous opportunity to stand in front of you and share a little bit about my life, my experience, and just some words of encouragement as you guys come up here and show your speeches, and as you move on from the 4 walls of OSU-OKC and do what it is that you're passionate about. 3 quick things that I want to share with you guys. The first thing is make sure that you set extreme goals. And what I mean by extreme goals is dream big. Whatever it is that you have a desire to do, it is possible for you. I'm the 5th of 6 children. I was the smallest of all of my brothers and sisters. I actually grew up to be the biggest. And so all of the times that my brothers and sisters used to pick on me, I don't give it back to them as physically as they once did me. But it's just interesting how things work out in that way. But getting back to the point of what I was saying, dream big. The possibilities, the resources, the people are out there for you guys to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. Whatever it is that you're passionate about, I encourage you to go after it because it is possible for you guys. I grew up right here in Oklahoma City. I attended Millwood High School, and a dream of mine was to play professional football. The odds of playing professional football is over 1 in a million. And so those aren't very good odds when you talk about wanting to achieve something. But people, I'm sure people coming from OSU-OKC, coming from even worse situations, have overcome even greater odds. And so when I set my goal to make sure to accomplish what it is that I wanted to accomplish, which is to play in the NFL, I put everything that I had into it. And through the grace of God, some good old-fashioned grit, I was able to accomplish my goal. I got a chance to go on to Oklahoma State University and play for the Pittsburgh Steelers for a number of years. Second thing that I want to share with you guys is be on the lookout for secondary lessons, experiences, and opportunities on your road to the primary goal. And what I mean by that is my primary goal was football. It was what I wanted to do. It was what I identified as my dream. But there were some secondary things along the line that I was able to experience just from chasing my primary goal. One of them was public speaking. I never could imagine that I would stand up in front of people and share my story because usually when it was time to talk, and they called Donovan Woods, I would be hiding behind the stage. But here I am, standing up in front of people and sharing what it is that I have to share, my experience, my life, the things that I know to be true. And the reason why I was able to do that is because I was paying attention to the secondary lessons and opportunities on the way to my primary journey. The last thing that I want to share with you is don't quit. How many of you guys out there have ever wanted to quit something? I'm pretty sure everyone in this room has dealt with something difficult and at one time or another have wanted to quit. I had a chance to run across a poem while I was in college. The first time that I heard it, I knew that it was something that I had to put inside my everyday life. And so the poem is called Don't Quit, and I'll make sure that I go ahead and close with it. And I put it on the tables of my heart because it has such a meaningful impact, not only to me, but I feel like as I recite this poem, as I share this message with you, it's a powerful one. And just take a listen to it and let me know if it's as powerful to you as it has been for me in my life. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, when you want to smile but you have to sigh, when cares are pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Life is queer with its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns. Many a fellow has turned about when he may have won had he stuck it out. Don't give up though the pace seems slow. You may succeed with another blow. Often the goal is nearer than it seems to the faint or faltering man. Often the struggler has given up when he may have captured the victor's cup. And he learned too late when the night came down how close he was to the golden crown. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt. You never know how close you are. It may be close when it seems so far, so stick to the fight. When your heart is hit, it's when things seem worse that you mustn't quit. Thank you for your time, guys.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And so everybody speaking today can know they are accomplishing the same things he has accomplished. And isn't that neat to think about? All right, I think our next contestant is, or next finalist, I'm sorry, is James Buller. Come on up.
Hi, I'm James Buller, and my speech is titled Education is Healing. So here's how the routine went. Every morning in the backseat of my mom's car, we would leave the house and start the drive. We got to the end of the street, and my heart rate would pick up. Take a left turn and hit the next intersection, and my legs would go numb. Right turn and a mile down the road, and I couldn't breathe, and the tears started pouring down my face. Another right turn, and we're in the drive. Some mornings, my mom would let my brother out and turn around and drive me back home. And other mornings, I would put on a brave face and get out of the car on my own. But as soon as she left, I was in my worst nightmare, junior high school. In elementary school, things seemed easy for me. I learned new concepts quickly, and I brought home straight A's in all my classes every semester. I sailed through the first through sixth grade. Education in those days was fun and affirming, and it connected me to the people around me. I approached challenges with the firm belief that I could meet them, and I did every time. But when I started junior high, all of that came crashing down. I dealt with a lot of bullying from students and even from a guidance counselor. I had this group of guys that would follow me through the hallways, yelling derogatory names. They would holler offensive and inappropriate questions, knock me into walls or lockers, and worse things. The taunting and the staring and the whispering and the pointing never stopped. I tried again and again to get help from a teacher or a counselor, but the only advice that I received was to try harder to fit in. Every day when I showed up to school, the part of my brain that used to engage with education was focused on routes through the hallways, or what time and what class could I go to the bathroom safely. Education happened to me every day in that school, but I was being educated on cruelty and loneliness. Education hurt physically and emotionally. So I dropped out in ninth grade. I spent an entire year at home by myself while my mom was at work. But I felt more alone in that school of 600 people than I ever felt in that year when I was actually by myself. My aunt had given me a gift that year. It was a DVD box set of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I had all 7 seasons, and she and I made it through that year together. Buffy battled her demons while I battled mine, and we both came out on the other side of it. So that next year, with my mental health in a much better place, I enrolled in 10th grade at the new high school. But even after I left that place that caused me such torment, the fear of what had been kept me from what might be. I didn't excel academically because I didn't have the will to try. Education was happening around me, but not to me because I was stuck. My brain that used to meet challenges had rewired itself to view those challenges as a threat and to just shut down. Now, I went through the motions and I graduated, but I made a promise to myself that I would never put myself in that situation again. I had spent too many years being unhappy, and it was finally over. So I had a coworker named Bobby. It was a place that we used to work before the pandemic. And we used to talk all the time, and she would say, "Why are you here? You're too smart for this place. Why are you working here?" And after the 5th, 6th, 7th time that she tried to engage me in that conversation, I just told her. I told her everything. The years of spending all my mental energy surviving the day that I couldn't engage in education. This was the best job I could find with the education that I had, and I had made my peace a long time ago that I would never receive a college degree. And then she said something that I thought about for a long time. She said, if those 3 years did so much damage, how much healing could you do in 3 years? So that's where I'm at today. I am halfway through my 3 positive healing years, and my relationship to everything has changed. I used to be terrified at the thought of enrolling my own kids in school because of the experiences that I had. But I enrolled them all this last August, and they love going to school. They bring home birthday party invitations and playdate requests every week. I have classes here on campus every Monday and Wednesday, and I look forward to those days every week. My calendar is full of events with the Deaf Hearing Social Club and my officer duties with the OSU-OKC Single Parent Association. I'm not scared of my classmates anymore. I'm actually friends with a lot of them. For the first time since I was 12 years old, education isn't the monster under my bed. Education has made me a better person and a better parent, and education has healed parts of me that I didn't know could be fixed. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I'm letting you hear from a few of the liberal arts professors here, since the speech competition is a product of the liberal arts division in the humanities department. So I'd like to introduce Dr. Stephen Collins. He's one of the most popular professors here on campus. I see nods back there from students, yes. So he's got some information he always likes to share.
Thank you so much. I'm Dr. Collins. I'm the lead political science professor here on campus. And my message today is simple. Get involved. If you're a student on campus, we have various clubs for you to be involved in. Personally, I advise the Black Students Association, the music club, and the dance club. And if they ever make it here, we'll get to see the dance club. I think they're putting some finishing touches on their act. There are numerous statistics that show that if you are involved as a student, you are retained and you come back. Get involved, and there are plenty of ways to get involved here on campus. And just in general, if you're not a student, get involved in your democracy. I know you're probably thinking, hey, you teach government, you're obliged to say that, but democracy is supposed to be for, of, and by the people, but if the people are missing, it doesn't work. Get involved, whether that be registering to vote, whether that be exercising your right of a peaceful protest, registering someone else to vote. Get involved in your democracy. As you know, there are elections coming up, various school board elections. We have them in February. We also have elections in April. If you're not able to go, you can sign up for an absentee ballot. Oklahoma has what we call a voter portal now. Let me tell you some of the things you can do with the voter portal. You can sign up to vote. You can request a sample ballot. And it helps to look at the sample ballot. And that way, when you go to the polls, you're a little bit more informed about what you're going to be voting for. So a process that could take you a while could take you 5 or 10 minutes because you've already looked at your sample ballot. You can check to see if your voting place has changed. You can change your political affiliation. There are a lot of things that you can do in the Oklahoma voter portal. I will be brief. I can't wait to hear from the last 2 speakers. And I want to say, Professor V, this is an amazing event. And I want you all to help me. Let's show some love to Professor V. This is awesome. And I want to end with this. Democracy is a contact sport, right? Don't be afraid. I always tell my students, I won't tell you who to vote for, but you need to vote and get involved. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. Okay, the final speaker for today is going to be Pam Vasquez.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for allowing me to be here today. My name is Pamela Vasquez and this is my story. Hola, buenas tardes. Gracias por permitirme estar aquí. Mi nombre es Pamela Vasquez y esta es mi historia. The American dream. For many of us growing up in the United States, education is so easy to access. The American dream may signify different things for different people. For me, it means achieving every hope and dream my parents had, but weren't given the resources to achieve them. One of them being education. My father was only 14 years old. He was in the 8th grade when he was forced to stop school to help out his family. He was only one of the many children who had to do this, having no choice but to put a halt on their education and start a laborer's job. This is not the case for me. I have every possible option within reach. Education to me means taking absolutely every opportunity that my parents never had. Education to me means achieving the American dream. It means making my father and family proud. It means having a better future. I am at OSU-OKC for many reasons. For today, I will only name two. One, OSU-OKC provided me with an option to take some online classes. When applying to colleges, this was so important to me because I wanted to be able to do both work and school. Two, OSU-OKC demonstrated excellent diversity. We are a community who values diversity. We understand and respect the many differences between everyone, whether it may be cultural background, ethnicity, or race. Growing up a child of an immigrant is hard. Having to fill out your own enrollment sheet, having to translate in every teacher conference, having to go home to write your English essay on your own. As a child, I thought it was normal. Everyone has to go home and figure it out. I remember having to write several essays in the 4th grade. We would have to work on it at home, and every day we would come back to show our teacher. I remember seeing that all my other classmates had it almost all done, and I only had a few sentences. I remember my teacher calling my parents to see why I wasn't learning as quickly as other students, a conversation in which I had to translate for. I felt so incapable, but still I passed on to the next grade, every year being the same. As I grew up and started to have more real conversations about life at home, I realized that this wasn't the case for everyone. At home, children had the help of their parents on English assignments. They didn't have to translate when going to a parent-teacher conference or a doctor's appointment. At the time, I was angry and frustrated at all the challenges I had to face as a child of an immigrant. Now I am grateful. I am grateful I had to face these hardships. I am grateful to my parents that although they couldn't help me, they have encouraged me and pushed me to become a better person and pushed me to further my education. Education to me means making them proud. Education to me means achieving the American dream. Education is the one thing that has leveled the playing field for me, and I am so grateful for OSU for allowing me to continue to achieve my dreams. Thank you.
Dr. Collins? Okay. That is okay. All right, so that is the end of the finalists. I'd like to give one final applause to all of the finalists. Regardless of what the totals wind up being, I would like to encourage all of you who made it this far to write that down on your resume. Let future employers know, because communication skills are the most requested skills, most desired skills by many employers, and are a key leadership skill. So I'd like to see you brag about that. So we're going to get together. We're going to do the final tally. We're going to have it double checked. And if the dance club gets here, we're going to see, I'm sure, an amazing routine, and we'll enjoy that. But I'll get back to you with the results in just a minute. So hang out.
Here's the out score right here. There you go. And this is your afterwards, and we'll do a little sound test. He said, this is set, you just control the volume on your phone, he said. And let me know what I need to do. Actually, that's a good question, because this thing is kind of in the way. How much space do you want? Is the spacing enough? Because if we want to, we can have them dance over there, we can have people turn that way. Okay. Professor V, come for 1 second. The student said that it would be easier for them to have a dance right there. People can turn.
Yes.
Good.
Perfect.
Good. We'll just
I
have
bet
the
it
crowd
is.
turn that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Should I try to see if this is there for a
Test
minute?
it. He said,
There you go.
so you just let me know what to do when you're ready. When you get a place, just hit play.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll put my thumb over.
Yeah. Okay. Everyone, we have a dance club and they're going to dance over there because there's more space. So you sort of turn your attention to Jasmine and Howie. And Jasmine, let me know if this sounds okay and I can turn it up, okay? Give me thumbs up.
It's deep in the weekend. Everything on me, yeah. I'ma spend it on myself. I'ma drop it. Pour it on myself. Check, check, check. Your bank account number. Right. It's never getting bounced on your picture. I just made 100 bands. When the I'ma leave my autograph. Dollar bills, won't you falling for me? I love the way that feels. Dollar bills, keep on falling for me. I love the way it feels. Money, dropping on my money. Money, all this stuff so yummy. Tricking, when I buy the things I dollars dropping on my ass tonight. Everyone silent. Listen to my money. You know I like it. Yeah, everyone. When it's a green, let me go. Give me what the hell I want. Your bank account number. It's never getting bounced on your picture. I just made 100 bands. When the I'ma leave my autograph. Dollar bills, won't you falling for me? I love the way that feels. Dollar bills, keep on falling for me. I love the way it feels. Money, dropping on my money. Money, all this stuff so yummy. Tricking, when I buy the things I dollars dropping on my ass tonight. Dropping out my money. All this stuff so yummy. Money, dropping out my money. Money, all this stuff so yummy, yeah. My money. My money. Dropping on you.
I did video too.
I know we're kind of like not really that well dancing, but we do have a recruitment event happening on the Wednesday at 2 o'clock for recruitment. If you guys want to make it, we'll have some nice treats and really good drinks. I think you guys should check it out. We'll be in the LRC third floor. What number? 310. 310. If you guys want to see it, so please drop by and say hello. Thank you.
And the club is for people who like to dance or people who just like dance. If you appreciate dance, you go there.
Okay. All right, they've been tallied and double checked and tallied again. So we have the results. So I want to first, again, remind you that everybody will get a certificate who made it to the finalists. So please stick around. I'd like to get photographs of everybody who participated along with the judge. Want to make sure you're introduced to the judges and have a chance to talk to family and faculty and everybody here. First of all, the third place winner, who's going to get 3 credit hours of tuition, is Pam Vasquez. Woo. Hold on here. Come on up. I'm going to give you your certificate. There we go. Over here. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Pam's family is here as well. The second place winner, also getting 3 credit hours, is Justin Garrett. Thank you so much. Congratulations. And finally, the winner who will receive 12 credit hours towards next semester's tuition is James Bueller. Thank you. Congratulations. Can I get all of the people who came to speak today, the finalists? Finalists up here. We'll just get a picture of you guys. Congratulations again. I want to thank everybody for coming today and supporting this annual speech contest. If you have other students who would like to try for this, please encourage them. It's usually this few. Thank you.